Hi everyone, Stepan here. In today's endgame video we are going to go over the two bishops checkmate, and this checkmate is much simpler than checkmating with knight and bishop, but it still requires finesse as opposed to a queen checkmate or a rook checkmate, which can be figured out easily on the board. Mating with two bishops can be figured out over the board, but it's easier if you know the general plans, and once you memorize them, you're always going to be able to do it in less than 20 moves, regardless of where the kings are on the board. And even though you could be able to do it by yourself, probably, there's still a danger of reaching the 50-move rule, in which case the game is a draw. And it might be nice to show off and checkmate in the least possible number of moves when playing a tournament game. So we are going to be applying several principles. I just wanted to say first that the rook mate and the queen mate are not going to be covered in separate videos. I think they are really easy and you can look them up if you don't know them. And after this video we are moving on to pawn endings. So I wanted to cover the endings with no pawns first, so these two checkmates. And then we are off to pawn endings in the next endgame video. So mating with two bishops requires four things. The first one is that you should always use your king first. So that's what I think is most important. Most people usually move their bishops first, and the fastest way to checkmate is to move your king up the board and just checkmate after that. And move your king as much as you can, take as much space as you can. It applies to the knight and bishop checkmate as we saw as well. After that, after you cannot move your king up the board anymore, then you use your bishops, but not to check the king, you use them to restrain the king. And your first goal is to get the king to the back rank. After you got the king to the back rank, you want to get it to a corner. Ideally, it will be the corner where your king is, because then it will be easiest to checkmate. And after that, there is one finesse in this checkmate, and that's the Zugzwang, one waiting move before the very checkmate, two moves before checkmate, and that we are going to see. This is just a random position I've set on the board, and I've played it out already. After I show you this one, I'm going to put another random position on the board and solve it myself. And you can see my reasoning, and hopefully after that you are going to be an expert in checkmating with two bishops. Okay, so this position is pretty simple. Same as any bishop mate. The first thing you do, you get your king up the board. So the first move white played here was king from d1 to e2. The black king should try and stay away from the corner of the board as much as possible and from the back rank. So the king should stay in the center of the board. If the kings are in the center, the black king can never get checkmated. The bishops just cannot do that. They complement each other, and they can, for example, control these two diagonals, but you can see that it's really hard to checkmate the king unless it's in the corner. In fact, it's impossible. So let's continue. King e4, taking up space. King d6. Now it's obvious that you cannot take that much space anymore. You can bring your king into f5, but it's arguable whether that's useful or not. King d4 is also a move, but this is now the time to include your bishops. So you restrain the king. There are certainly most precise moves you could use, but in general, if you restrain the king visually, it's going to be enough. So my choice here was bishop e3. I simply don't want to allow the king to travel to the queen side in this position. King e6. And now I chose bishop b3 check. Even though it's a check and usually the king should be restrained without checking, this seemed like a nice option because now I'm controlling these two squares, and the king basically has to move somewhere where it doesn't suit him. So the king goes to d6, and now the move is bishop d5. After bishop d5, you can see that the king cannot advance anywhere. This is the restriction. You want the king to move backwards. If you can set up a position in which black is in Zugzwang, he has a compulsion to move, and he needs to go one rank further down the board, or up the board, depends on how you're looking at it, then you are doing the right thing. So in this case, bishop d5 was the correct move because the king cannot stay on the 6th rank or on the 5th rank. The king has to go back. So king d7. After you have space to move your king up the board, you should do it regardless of black response, unless it can travel back to one rank higher. So in this case, whatever I do, I need to stop the king from entering the d6 square. I can do it with my bishop, let's say bishop f4, but a much better continuation is king e5, because now, one, I've moved my king up the board. It's impossible to checkmate without using your king as well, and I've restrained the king from entering the 6th rank. king c7, but this is now already an almost hopeless position. You can see that my two bishops are controlling the escape route for the black king, and it's already clear that the black king is never going to exit these squares until he gets checkmated. The only thing I can do now is improve my position further, get the king to the back row to the 8th rank, and then chase it into a corner. So my next plan is get the king from the 7th rank to the 8th rank. So my move is king e6. King e6 restrains the king. So now these diagonals are taken. The king has c8, b8, c8, and d8, and the king needs to get to the back rank. If it goes to the corner, it's going to be easier to checkmate, so the most resilient move is king d8. After king d8, you can now either check or gain the opposition, or do anything in your power to drive the king closest to where to the corner where your king is. In this case, this is going to be the h8 square, and you know from this position then the king is going to get checkmated on the h8 square. So what I did, I tried to restrain the king some more, and I've tried to give it least space possible. So one move I was considering here was bishop g5. The other move I was considering was bishop to b7, but as you can see, the king can then escape into the c7 square. But I think the most precise continuation here is the move bishop to f4. And after the king tries to go to either corner, let's say it goes here, then you chase it up the board, play here, king d6. Once the king goes to the corner, then you are going to checkmate it there. If it goes to d8, then it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Now, the thing that you want to do is force the king to the corner that you want him to go to. In this case, I wanted him to go to h8, so I'm going to play the move bishop b7. Now, as you can see, the king has to go to the e8 square. Once the king gets to the e8 square, now we want to keep it away from exiting the back row, and you do that by restraining it further. Okay, so now you play this move, king e6. The king can go into d8 or into f8. If it doesn't want to go to the corner, then king d8 is once again the most resilient move. But you can see that my pieces are restraining all of the squares, and that the king is going to have to go back on his very next move. So let's say I play a waiting move. Let's say I play the move bishop to a6. The king has only one square, and now once he plays king e8, now I'm going to play the move bishop to c7, and now you can see that once again I'm restraining the king from all of the squares. It has only one square. So you do this restricting technique as the fastest way to checkmate. So the king has to go to f8. What do you do now? You restrain the king from exiting to the 7th rank. So the first things first, you need to play the move bishop to king to f6. He now, if he doesn't want to go to the corner, he's going to go to the e8 square, and now once again you need to restrain him from exiting. At the moment the king could escape through the d7 square, so now you check, bishop b5, and the king once again has no square, but it has to advance to the center, so king f8. Now you can play another waiting move, or you can check the king. Checking is much faster in this case. If I check from d6, the king is going to go to g8, so now bishop d6, king g8. Now further restriction, bishop to c4 check would actually be a mistake, and that's what I want to talk about briefly, because you need to leave the Zugzwang move, and as we are going to see, the correct move here is king g6, and now the king once again has only one square, so king to h8. And now this is the final stage of the game, and this is the only point at which you need to show some finesse. So the king has which squares? At the moment, your king is restraining the black king from exiting via g7 and via h7. So on his next move, the black king is going to have only one square, and that's the square g8. If you don't want to draw the game, you should leave the square available. For example, if white plays bishop c4 here, then it's going to be stalemate. The black king has no squares. So it's obvious that you cannot move your bishop to c4. You cannot move it to that diagonal. What you want to be able to do is once the king gets to g8, you want to be able to check him with bishop c4, and once it goes back to h8, then you play bishop e5 checkmate. So you want a waiting move. This is the most important part. You need a waiting move, any waiting move. Just don't move your king to make sure the king doesn't escape. So let's say I'm going to play bishop a4. Bishop a4, now the king has to go to g8. Once the king gets to g8, it's fairly simple. Bishop b3 check, king h8, bishop e5 checkmate, game over. And this is the way to checkmate with the two bishops. So the first thing we did, moving the king up the board. After I took as much space with my king as possible, forcing the king to the back rank. Bishop f4, restraining the king further. And all you did was force the king to the corner by restraining him with your bishop. Remember that very often checking the king is a mistake. Sometimes it's going to be the fastest way, but try to find restraining moves instead. Once you get this position where the king has gone to h8 or to any corner, h1, a1, a8 or h8, remember the waiting move, don't stalemate. So any waiting move is going to do bishop a4 or the other bishop to c5 or to b4 or to a3 is going to work. Once you put him in Zugzwang, so the black king has to move, king g8, then you simply checkmate. Game over. Okay, I hope this was clear enough. Now I'm going to set up one random position on the board and solve it so that you can see my thought process. As I said, this one I've set up before. So I'm going to use a random position and solve it over the board. Okay, I'm going to set up a random position, board editor. Sorry about the screen being off, but I didn't adjust it for this. Let's just clear the board and set up any random position. Let's say bishop b1, bishop c1, king d1, and the black king on f7. Analysis board. Okay, it's white to move, and now I need to find the fastest way to checkmate. I'm going to talk less to try to be precise. You can pause and put this position on your board if you want. Try to solve it before you watch the rest of the video. Okay. Give me two. So the black king is going to want to stay as close to the center as possible. Once it does, I want to restrain him. The best restraining move, and this is a pattern you need to remember, is putting your king behind your bishop when the black king or the opponent's king is in front of the bishop. So now you can see that the king has to move back. The king doesn't have any squares. It needs to go one rank further. Once it does, you need to advance your king up the board. Let's be resistant with the black pieces. The king is restrained here, here, here. Yeah, actually it has no squares now. So okay, the king has to go back. Now restriction once again. I want to play here. No, I want to play here. Okay, let's say king here. Restrict it from here. I want to play this. Oh, okay, I cannot play that. Okay, here. Here. Cannot go here. Cannot go here. Here, and now the king has to go to the back rank. It has no squares on the 7th rank. Let's say it goes here. This is the most resilient move. Keep the opposition, and now the black king chooses a corner. Let's say he chooses a corner farther up the board. Let's restrain him from exiting, taking away f7. Let's say he is resilient once more. Check, forcing him to make a decision. Let's say he goes here. Now on my next move, he has only one square, king f8 here, so now let's restrain him from escaping once more. I don't want him exiting via g7. So bishop d4, now it can go back here, but now once again a restriction. Okay, here it doesn't have any squares now, but f8. Now let's force him farther up the board. Here it needs to go to g8. Now let's take away some squares. Okay, I'm going to do it this way because I don't want him escaping. Here, now I need to move my bishop away from the diagonal. Let's say I go here. No. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do this. So now here, king g8 is his only square. Now his only two squares are king h8 and f8. I need to move my bishop away to be able to checkmate, and it's unnecessary here now, so I'm going to move my bishop away, forcing the king here. Okay, here, king here. Now we need a waiting move, and that's bishop to e7, restraining the king from exiting via f8, and now it gets to the corner, it's going to be checkmate. Yeah, I actually should... Okay, yeah, okay, here. I need another waiting move. So, okay, once the king is on h8, you need a waiting move. So let's say bishop c2. Now the king goes here, and now check, bishop b3 check, king h8, and bishop f6 checkmate. Okay, it took me a long time, I have to admit. This is 25 moves, which is a bit embarrassing. Let's just see where I went wrong. Okay, it could have been faster, but I think it was okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, king d5 was precise, I played that, king e7. Here I played king e5, I should have played bishop g5 check. Bishop e3. Bishop e3 is now mate in 14 moves, and it took me 14 plus 7. 14 plus 7. It was supposed to be mate in 21, and I mated in 25. So not really precise. Let's see where I went wrong. This was correct. Here I played bishop d5. It says bishop g6 was the most precise move. Yeah, bishop d5 was mate in 8, so I made a mistake. So I played bishop here, 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 and I chased the king away. Yeah, so the rest was fine. But, wait, what was the move? Okay, bishop d5. So king e8. The move to checkmate in 8 was bishop g6. King here, but why wouldn't the king go to d8? Let's see. Yeah, it's still mate in 5. Yeah, this was faster. But I hope you forgive me for not finding the fastest checkmate. I think it's not as important if you know the technique. It's important if you want to show off, and I hope you manage to figure out how to do a fast checkmate with two bishops. Practice it at home, and in a couple of tries, you are never going to feel stress when you have it in a real game. And sometimes in blitz games or in rapid games, it's going to be important that your technique is good and that you can checkmate fast. Okay, as always. There's going to be extra content for those of you who decided to become patrons. I'm going to share extra in-depth analysis, and in this case, because it's simple, some examples which you can try to solve in as less moves as possible. And yeah, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more chess. Bye-bye. Thank you.